chat. It's Pam here. It is, I don't even know what day it is. It is Monday, February the 26th, I think. I'm having a coffee. I'm home from work. I'm relaxing. I thought I'd pop on and have a quick little chat with you guys. I haven't done a video since the very beginning of January. I skipped right over the month of February with videos, mostly because I have been super busy. Right after I made my January video, I think about a week or so after that, I got approached at work and was asked to facilitate one of our training courses for new people at work. It's a 7-week training course, and that means that for 7 weeks I have to work Monday to Friday like 8 o'clock in the morning, like day shift every day for 7 weeks. It's not me. I really enjoy the training and I enjoy the instructing, that sort of thing. But this getting up at 6 a.m. 5 days a week to go to work is for the birds. I don't know who came up with this idea. I came home one evening and I was so tired, and my husband said to me, like, what is wrong with you? And I said, I don't know, getting up in the morning, Monday to Friday, and going to work and only having 2 days off. What's that all about? And he says to me, honey, that's what regular people do. That's what I do. Yeah, not for me. I did it for years. In my other career, I worked Monday to Friday with just the weekends off. I would never be able to go back to it again. I dearly love my shift work. I love my 2-day shifts, 2 night shifts, and 4 days off on a rotation. Perfect. I do 4 night shifts and 4 days off on a rotation. So this Monday to Friday thing has really thrown my schedule off. I don't have time for anything on the weekends. I'm busy doing laundry, cleaning house, and all those other wonderful things that I have to cram into 2 days. And yeah, doesn't leave me much time for Flosstube videos. I did, however, keep stitching. I have not given up on my stitching. So, let's get into that. Let's see where we are with the stitching. Yeah, with that being said, part of my, I guess, plans in January, I had decided to try this hashtag 365 days of stitching. So it's meant to be a challenge where you stitch every single day. It doesn't matter if you put in 1 stitch, but it's to stitch every single day for the entire year. All 365 days of the year. And I have managed to do that so far. Every evening when I come home, I sit down, I'll put a couple of stitches in something, and I get so much done. Might be 15 stitches, might be 30 stitches, it might be 100 stitches, depending on how tired I am. But I have managed to stitch every single day so far this year. I've been posting my pictures to Instagram, so anyone who is following me there would have seen those. If you aren't following me, you can find me on Instagram at Pam's Crafty Corner, same as my channel name here. So yeah, I have really enjoyed that. I love having my stitching in my hands every day, I have to say. Without further ado, let's get into what I've been stitching for my 365 days this year. Whoops. I have, let's see, I started out with my Death by Cross Stitch, thinking that I would use that as my 365 day piece and put a few stitches in it every single day. That plan started to work out fine, and I was doing that until I started doing this different rotation at work. I found that if I was stitching in the evenings on my Death by Cross Stitch, then I wasn't touching either of my projects that have deadlines to them that I need to get finished. So I've my Death by Cross Stitch has become my Friday off the grid party piece. So every Friday evening, or every Friday if I happen to be off that I am home, I have been working only on Death by Cross Stitch. I will insert a picture of where it was at the beginning of January. And this is my Death by Cross Stitch now. Here we go. So I have accomplished quite a bit in January. I have to apologize for the lighting here. Again, it is 7:30 in the evening here. It's dark and I'm in my dining room. So no daylight to do this by. I just have this one overhead light in my dining room which just washes everything out, but it was either that or no video. And I have a quiet house at the moment with hubby and the kids out, so I said I would give this a go this evening. So here's my Death by Cross Stitch. Oh, I have to move my coffee. We don't want to spill that. It's going rather well, I have to say. I have stitched, I think, pretty much this entire section, like from my finger over, since January came in. I am pretty sure. I think the blue might be showing up there a little bit. Some people, I've been posting pictures of this on Instagram, and I've been playing around with the highlights on the pictures, because typically when I post this on Instagram, it looks black, because I'm stitching it with DMC 939, which is actually a very dark navy. So when it has shown up as blue on the Instagram pictures, I've had a couple people say, "Oh, I didn't know you were stitching that in blue." It's yeah, it's just very dark navy. I'm really, really loving having made the decision to go back to this for the Friday off the grid party. If nobody knows what that is, I'll try and put a link down below, but Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, she has set up a Facebook group for, I'm not sure what the Facebook is called, Friday Off the Grid, or Friday Off the Grid Party. Anyway, I'll put a link down below. I'll make a note of that. She has put a Facebook group together, and every Friday at 6 p.m. your time, no matter where you are in the world, you pick up your stitching and you stitch for 6 hours. So from 6 p.m. to midnight your time. And it's been really loosey-goosey. So if you're off all day on Friday and you want to stitch the whole day Friday, great. If you want to stitch part of the day, if you want to stitch just from 6 to 12 like you're supposed to, people have been posting their photos and chiming in on everybody's work. It's been a really, really nice group to be involved with. And I have been using my Death by Cross Stitch for every Friday. And stitching with that group. So that's Death by Cross Stitch. The next one I'm going to show you is my Plague Doctor. Plague Doctor is a piece that I started in 2017. I am only stitching it on the 13th of the month for the Dark 13 stitching hashtag, or Dark October stitching during the month of October. I'm hoping to have this finished soon. I'll insert a picture of where it was before. This is Plague Doctor now. So he is coming along quite well. This lighting is not doing much for him, but he's coming along quite well. There we go. As you can see, I'm working on filling in the bottom section of his coat, his cloak that he wears. I've got the hood all finished on this side, and this still needs to be filled in here. I chose to do my Plague Doctor just in black and gray because I wanted his black to have like a little bit of dimension to it. I didn't want it to just be black. So as you can see with his hat here, If I turn it sideways, you might be able to see the color better. You can see the difference. You can see the gray mixed in there and the black. I just liked the look of that a little bit better than the solid black. So that's my plague doctor. I am going to continue to stitch on him just on the 13th of the month every month, and I will upload my pictures on Instagram, and I'll use the hashtag Dark13 Stitching. I'm also in the Facebook group, which is Plague Doctor SAL. That was set up by McKenna. I'll link that below if I remember. Make a note there. So that's that. That chart is created by Busby Designs on Etsy, so you can check that out there. I'll make a note. Busby Designs. Alrighty. So I have two pieces I've been working on simultaneously. That I have to have finished before June of this year. They are my Canada samplers by Stitchrovia. My plan is to give these, I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to go into it now and the whole story behind it, but I'm doing one of these for my husband and my son, and I'm doing the second one for my son's best friend and his dad. They're very involved in the scouting movement. They're actually Venturer Scouts now. They've moved up to that. The boys are both 16 years of age, and the fathers are in their early to mid 40s. They're in their mid 40s, going on like 12. I'll insert a picture of where these were when you saw them in the beginning of January. And this is where they are now. I have gotten quite a bit done. I have completely finished working on this side of the maple leaf. I have finished all of the lettering across here that says "From Far and Wide," which is part of our national anthem. Stitched in the Rocky Mountains, the lodge, a bear, as well as the Aboriginal canoe with the Canada flag off the back. So, and again, I apologize for the lighting. I know you guys can't see that really well from here, but you get the idea of what I've gotten done to this point. So both of them, this is sampler number 1. Both of them are caught up to the same point. This is sampler number 2. Ta-da! Identical. What I need to do now is finish stitching this bottom portion here that comes down around on the opposite side of Canada. And then right in the middle, you can almost see the outline of where it's supposed to go, right here. That's where the totem, the big totem pole goes in the middle. So I'm getting close to having these done. I am really focusing on these right now. This actually got a couple of weeks in February instead of just the 1 week in February, because I finished the stitching on one and I wanted to get the second one completely caught up to that same point before I put it down. Really, really, really enjoying working on those. That's where those pieces are. Next is going to be, and if anyone's wondering where that chart came from, that is, excuse me, that's the Canada sampler by Stitchrovia. Next is going to be my Record Girls. She's been languishing the last little while because I didn't stitch on her in December, because I focused on Christmas for December. I did stitch on them in January. I have not taken them out for the month of February. I wanted to spend an extra week on my Canada samplers, and then after I was done the Canada samplers, I really had a hankering to get back to work on Jay's Folk Witch project. And hi Jay, by the way. I really wanted to get back to work on her Folk Witch project, and the thing is, that project I'm using for the year it by numbers and month by numbers in, I think it's called month by numbers, in the full coverage fanatics group on Facebook. And I had to get my 1200 stitches finished on Jay's Folk Witch. So when I finished with the Canada sampler, I had to jump right into Folk Witch. So anyway, I'll insert a picture of where Record Girls was the last time you saw it. And this is it now. Ta-da! So I have gotten some progress. Hang on, I don't want to lose darn it. Didn't want to lose my needle minder. It's now knocked off onto the floor, but I can still see it. I have gotten a fair bit done on this page underneath the blonde girl's hair. You can see the record starting to come out. You can see the shape of her body as it comes down here. This is her kneeling. She's kind of sitting on her side with her legs to the side on the floor. So she is coming along. Really looking forward to getting back to this piece, which I will do soon. Look at their cute little faces. This lighting is really bad. Really bad, because they look way more orange than they are in person. But anyway, you get the idea. Yeah. They're looking good. I'm really, really looking forward to getting back to them. I am going to carry on with Jay's piece for this week, and then I will get back to my Record Girls at the beginning of March. So there they are. Now, my last piece that I worked on since my January video is Jay's Folk Witch. Jay has been in my thoughts and in my prayers, and she seems to be doing well at the moment. I took this piece out and I've put some very loving, thoughtful stitches into it. I am not going to take it off the frame because I'm still working on it at the moment. I had to get my 1200 stitches done for the February Fanatics 1200 stitches for the month. I actually managed, I think it was 1457 or 1468 or something like that. It was just over 1400 stitches I got in. And what those 1400 stitches did was give me a page finish. I'll insert a picture of where this was before. And this is it now. It is really coming together. This was the page that I completed last night. I don't think I can get that any closer, but there you go. You can see her hand holding the book. Here's her other hand holding her mug of some sort of brew she's drinking. This is the end of the piece on this side. This has 2 more pages to go on this side. So I'm going to start the next page here, and then what I'll do is I'll work down the rest of the pages, and then I want to save my favorite part for last for motivation, and I want to do her face and her hair and her hat and everything last. I want to do the top of it last. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll see. Plans always change, so I don't even know why we bother to make them. There is more of this down here, more of her skirt done in the bottom, but it's rolled up in the Q-snap and I'm not going to take it out. But in March, when I do my update, I will take the Q-snap off and give you a really good picture of what she looks like fully. But so far, so good. I love how her wrap has turned out on her shoulders with her little brooch holding it together. Really like this piece, Jay. It's really coming together. And I'm sure you're going to love it once it shows up, once I get it done. When I get it done, whenever I get it done. But I am working on it and I'm not losing motivation on it. So far so good. Okay. So that is all of my stitching for the last month and a half. Almost 2 full months. I have a Mill Hill kit that I'm working on from Christmas that I haven't finished. I also have a small Newfoundland kit that is just about done. I think I just need to bead it. I'm planning on doing that maybe this weekend coming. So I'll actually have a finish. Can you believe that? But yeah, the Mill Hill kits, the Christmas ones that I want to do, I think I'm going to use those as my pieces at work for my lunch breaks and things like that when I get back to my regular schedule. Thank goodness I only have 1 week left of instructing this course. This is the last week. So as of Friday, I am off for 4 days, and then I'm back to my regular 4 on and 4 off rotation. So I'll be back to some sort of normalcy in my life. My Flossiversary this month came and went. Have I been on Flosstube 2 years? Was it 2 years, February, or 3? I think it was 2 years. I think the anniversary date was actually Valentine's Day, or the day before, the day after Valentine's. Might have been the 15th of Valentine's. 15th of Valentine's. The 15th of February. Yeah, I've been doing these videos for a while now, and I still enjoy them. I like them. They're really good motivation for me. They keep me going with my pieces. They keep me active with my stitching because, yeah, I like to keep in touch, and I still love watching other people's Flosstube videos. There are so many people making videos now. It's too hard to get to everybody, but I try to watch as many as I can, and the thing is we all make these hour-long videos. So if I've only got an hour, I can't fit in 2 people's 30-minute videos when there's too many people doing 1 hour videos. So I can only fit in 1 video in the hour that I have. Yeah, but it's good. It's all good. I don't think I really have anything else. I did get some lovely racks in the mail this month. A couple of weeks ago, I received 2 packages from 2 very, very sweet, lovely ladies who contacted me and asked if they could send a few things my way. I don't have them with me to show because they are tucked away in my craft room downstairs, and I forgot to bring them up. But I did receive two very lovely, very generous packages. There was charts in them. One had, like, there was kitted up charts. One sent me 2 bags of floss. There was, oh my gosh, charts and little mini kits, and there's a bunch of little things in there. So lovely and so very, very much appreciated. My goal, as I said, I think earlier this year, was to start really concentrating on just a couple of my full coverage pieces at a time. Right now it's Record Girls and Jay Spoke Witch. And as I finish a large piece, I'll then sub in another large piece. But I didn't want to have this huge rotation of 5 and 6 pieces because I want to do more, not smalls, but medium-sized pieces. Things that would take me probably just several months to do, not several years to do. So I'm really looking forward to getting at some of those other kits and medium-sized charts that I have in my stash now. As I'm finishing, say, Plague Doctor and my Canada samplers, I can start picking up some of these other charts and having some new starts and having some finishes every year, as well as getting the enjoyment of working on my full coverage pieces, which I absolutely love. Oh my gosh, and speaking of how much I love full coverage pieces. Okay, story time. I'm finished with my actual stitching update, so if you need to sign off, sign off. But I'm going to give a little story. So, for Christmas, my best friend's husband, my best childhood friend, like I've known her almost my entire life. He buys her a plane ticket to come home for a Christmas present. But not to come home at Christmas time, to come home, now in February month. So she came home, she flew home for a 4-day long weekend without her husband, without her kids. And wouldn't you know, I come down with this terrible head cold thing that's been going around, like this bug that everybody and their chicken has. I was so sick. Anyway, I stuffed myself full of like cold meds. I was high for like the entire weekend on that stuff. And we went out still and had dinner, had a bite to eat out at a restaurant, at a pub, had a couple of drinks. Yeah, I was high as a kite on cold meds. Anyway, she came and stayed a night with me. So my daughter, the night that she came here to stay, my daughter decides to, blab all about, oh, well, mom does Flosstube videos and she's on YouTube. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna squat you. Like I have this thing about people that I know watching me on YouTube, and I don't know what it is. Because I'm just talking about my cross stitch. Maybe because I think it's a nerdy thing to be talking about. I don't know, but I just think it's hilarious that, anyway, I don't know why anyone who knows me would take the time to sit down and watch one of these videos. They can just call me up and we can chat about it. Anywho, so she gets here. My daughter's blabbing about my YouTube. She's now looking me up on YouTube. Hi, Lisa, by the way, if you're watching. I'm mortified. Absolutely mortified. But anyway, we get a laugh out of it, right? She used to cross stitch. This girl used to cross stitch all the time. Her and her mother were huge stitchers, and they are the reason that I got into cross stitching. I have mentioned this before, I think one of my earlier videos, one of my earliest videos, about how I got into cross stitching and how long I've been cross stitching. Her and her mom, they're the ladies who taught me how to stitch. And she is the one specifically that took me to a store, and instead of getting me some simple little cross stitch pattern to try to see if I was going to like it, she bought a Paula Von, made me buy a Paula Von chart, because she said, this is no harder to do than a Christmas ornament. It has all the stitches in it that you're going to need to know. It has full crosses, half cross, quarter stitches, back stitching. It has everything you're going to need to know, and you'll be able to stitch it. So I bought a piece of fabric, Aida cloth. I bought 18 count Aida. I bought a couple bobbins of floss, skeins of floss I was going to need, and I bought this chart. And I've been hooked ever since. And my first Paula Von piece, with all of its mistakes and all of its learning as I go stitches, is hanging in my stairwell now. So she gets here. She gave up stitching years ago. Not that she gave it up, but she just got away from it. And God rest her soul, but her mom has since passed on. And I guess like myself, she just kind of lost her stitching bug. And there was no one around that she stitched with anymore. And anyway, she's just fallen out of stitching. So while she was here, I said to her, oh, well, I'll show you my stuff. And I'm pulling out my pieces, and I'm showing her I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, and I'm showing her my Heaven and Earth Designs pieces, and my Old World map, and my Christmas Carol, and I got everything out, and I'm showing it all to her. She's like, oh my God, like you have gone mental. Like you've got so much stuff. So that conversation progressed to later that night. It was, well, maybe I should get back into stitching because, you know, my kids have started school now because her kids are much younger than my kids. And I was like, yeah, you should. And she said, yeah, maybe I'll go online and look for something. I said, well, why don't we go through my stash and you can find something to take home with you? So she took home like 2 charts from my stash. And I didn't think much of it. I thought, well, she's gone home. She's probably not going to pick up her stitching. And, you know, if she does, great. I would love it. But I didn't think I'd hear anything from her. Yesterday, I start getting text messages from her with pictures of heaven and earth designs. Oh my God, look at this big bookshelf with all the fairies and the things. And I was like, oh yeah. She's still sending me pictures. And I was like, oh, that would be really cool. And she said, well, maybe a flapper, like a flapper girl, something from the 1920s. And she's looking at charts of that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I've created a monster. Like, I can see this is just going to go hog wild. So when I went to bed last night, she sends me a picture and of this bookshelf that she found. It's a gorgeous chart. And she's like, oh, found this online. I've bought it. It's getting sent to me in an email PDF. We didn't have PDFs back when we used to stitch years ago. It's getting sent to me in a PDF, and I think I'm going to do it. And I was like, oh, that's really impressive. So she gets the email, and today she sends me another text. Oh my God, I've gotten the email. The chart is 30 pages. So she's now gone to Staples and had it printed. And then she was like, now I just need cloth. She's sending me these text messages. I said, if you're gonna, do you know what count you're gonna do it on? She says, I think I'm doing an 18 or 16 count Aida. I said, your cheapest place for that is gonna be Michael's. They sell it there in tubes. If you got a coupon, even better, you can get it half price. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm headed there now. That's my next stop. So yeah, I've created a monster. It's great. So I'm really hoping that she picks up her stitching and her and I can have some kind of weekly virtual, you know, live Skype or FaceTime or something stitching session once a week for about an hour and have a chat and stitch together. It would be lovely. Be like just like old times, because I would go to her apartment and we'd hang out. I'd hang out with her and her mom and we'd be watching TV and stitching together, and it was fabulous. I have really good fond memories of that, so it would be nice if that kind of came around again. I think I have yammered on enough. I think I'm done. I will try and link those couple of things below that I mentioned. One other thing that I have been thinking about now that my schedule is going to get back to normal. Back in September, I had toyed with the idea of doing a Q&A video, maybe once a month or so. I think I am going to do that. Some people had left me questions on that Q&A suggestions video that I put up back in September. I think what I'll do is the beginning of the month, every month, I will do my regular Flosstube update like I always do. But maybe around the mid-month, like around the 15th of each month, I'll do a Q&A video where I'll answer whatever questions you have. And I might do it as a stitch with me. So I'll do my stitching and answer the questions if I can. So there you have it. We might go ahead with that in March month. So have a great day. Have a fabulous stitchy week. And we will chat with you again soon.